Hi guys, we're gonna get started in just a minute. Hello. Okay, welcome to another fun painting tutorial. It's Kate here from the Firestone and the clay pen. Today we're going to be painting this fun canvas with acrylics. It's called You're a Gem. This is a fun one, kind of good for any age. Definitely I feel like this one's going to be popular with the teenage crowd, but yeah, this is just a fun one. I feel like kind of crystals. This makes me think of like crystals and geodes and just kind of positive vibes, which is obviously something that we need right now. So I'm really loving this one. Hope you guys love it too. We're gonna get started in just a minute, but first I'm just gonna tell you a little bit about this. This is an example of some of our pre-packaged to-go kits that you can order from us on our website. Everything is up there for you. You'll receive a traced out version of this, and you'll receive everything you need, all the paints, brushes, and then you'll have this video to go off of as a step-by-step instruction for you. So all of that will be posted on our Facebook page as well. But if you're looking for something fun to do, you should check out. We have this design plus a bunch of other designs available for you as well. Just like I said, they're on our website, thefirestone.ct.com. All right, so we're gonna get started here. Let's see. And the first thing that I'm gonna do is, like I said, here I have my canvas already traced out for me, which is great. And then I'm gonna just go over the colors that come with this kit. So for this one, we're gonna need 6 different colors. And also I would plan for this to take you about an hour and 40 minutes, during which today we're gonna take a break. I'm gonna go through this not super quick, but I'm gonna give you the step-by-step, but maybe I'll be painting a little bit quicker than you're used to. But luckily, you know, this will be available for you, so you're able to kind of pause it, rewind, fast forward, whatever you need to do to go along with your own painting style. All right, so the colors that we have today, 6 colors. We're gonna be using, first off, bright red. Then next we have a very pretty violet. We've got our phthalo red. We've got our raw sienna. We have Mars black and titanium white. So all these colors come pre-poured for you. You'll also get a palette as well. So I do have my palette here ready to go. And then with acrylics, you always want to have some water handy, so that way you are able to rinse out your brushes, and you can just keep using the same brush if you want from color to color. It's up to you. For this particular design, I'm going to recommend using smaller brushes. So what I mean by that is brushes with finer tips. Okay. This one does have a lot of lines, has a lot of small sections to it, so I think these will come in handy for just being able to really kind of color in those smaller sections and whatnot. As you can see on this one, we also have some lettering to do as well. Typically, I would say lettering is the toughest thing to do when it comes to painting. Luckily for us, we have this all pre-traced out, so it's going to make it a lot easier on us. And actually, once we get to that step, you'll see a tip that I like to recommend to people that are nervous about painting letters is you actually don't even want to think about them as letters. You want to think about them just as shapes. And sometimes a trick that I use for people to even help them not think about them like letters even more is just to turn your canvas on its side or even turn it upside down. Okay, what that's going to do is it's really going to get the idea that these are letters out of your head. And so that way you're just thinking about filling in the lines. That's all you're doing the whole way down. Okay, and as I'm going throughout this video, please feel free, if you are watching live with us right now and you do have any questions for me, me and Danielle are here. So any questions, feel free to ask. All right, so let's get started here. Let me just, we are working with acrylics, so I always like to have paper towel handy, just in case I do spill it, because the acrylic does stain. So let me just grab a couple paper towels there. All right, got some water and a little bit of paper towel here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my brushes in the water just to kind of get them ready to rock in case any of those bristles were not clean or had hardened over time. And then I'm just going to dry them nice and easy here. And the first thing that we're going to do is, now that we have everything traced out on there, we're going to use a brush and we're going to mix our first color. We're going to be doing a lot of mixing of colors with this one. The first color that we're going to do is we're going to do kind of like a black, the darkest color in this piece. Okay, so if I put this sample back up, you're able to see we're going to be filling in all these dark sections here. It looks on camera, I'm sure it looks black, but it's actually a mixture of the black and the violet here. Okay, so we're going to fill those in. And before we fill them in, because this is so, has so many different sections to it, one trick that I like to do is just very lightly with my pencil, I'm just going to give myself a little bit more of a direction or just a guide to know what ones I am going to be filling in. So maybe you just want to put a little X, or just maybe even just like a check mark, just something to kind of let me know, like a little cheat sheet about which ones I'm going to fill in first. Okay, this is, as you can see, another reason why this project takes a while, because we are going to be doing these colors like one at a time here. It will pay off in the end. But okay, so I'm just marking the areas everywhere on here that I know I'm going to add my first color. Let's see, over here. Oh, missing a line there. Do this one. Of course, if there's any areas that I feel like are missing, I can always go back. But like I said, just giving myself a little cheat sheet so that I know what I want to fill in first here, that dark black. And then I'm also going to fill in my letters at this point, and I'm going to do a little bit of this outline here as well. All right, so I've got my fine tip brush and let's get our paint mixed. Okay, so for this, I'm gonna do a couple different colors. I'm gonna do 1 part of the violet. So when I say 1 part, I mean 1 brush load. So I got my palette, my violet here. I'm doing 1 brush load of the violet. Now I'm also gonna do 1 brush load of the phthalo red. And then I'm gonna do just a small amount of the Mars black. Small amount. All right, and I'm just gonna mix that together and we'll see what we get. Black is a very strong color, especially in the acrylic world. So because we tend to use it to make things darker when we're trying to get a specific color, just know that it does tend to overtake a lot of colors. So always start small with the amounts of black that you use. You can always add more to it if you want it to be darker, but I always tend to err on the side of just a little at a time. Okay, so now I've got my color mixed here, and now what I'm gonna do is I just hold my brush just like kind of like a pencil, and I'm just gonna start filling in. So basically just coloring in the lines. So I'm gonna start at the top of my canvas and kind of work my way down. All right, let's see here. So I'm just gonna start outlining, and I'm just gonna do short strokes. Just nice short strokes. Okay, I've got some straight lines here. I've got some squiggly ones. Just filling in. Now it's gonna be up to you whether or not you do 2 coats on this. Sometimes people are okay with kind of seeing a little bit of that canvas peek through on the bottom, more of like a transparent look. And then some people, would rather have the color look a little more solid. So it's kind of going to be, something that you can decide as you're going along, but we don't have to decide now. It's okay. I am just filling in the lines here. All right, so you can see why this small brush is coming in handy. Just doing nice short strokes as I go, following the outlines that are already on my canvas. And another nice thing about acrylic is a lot of times, if you do make a mistake, go outside the lines, you're able to kind of cover it up with another color. So just nice short strokes. You can see this is just going to be, one, kind of want to think about this as one color at a time or just one layer at a time. Just working your way down little by little. And also you can see how these, where we pre-marked is coming in handy because I don't even really have to think about it. I just know where my color's going. Okay, nice short strokes with the paintbrush. And the color that I ended up with, it's definitely, I'm not sure if it's showing on camera, but It's definitely more on the violet side. So we'll see how it looks up next to the other colors. Like I said, always option to darken it or lighten it. To lighten it, you would just add a little bit of white into the mix on your palette. And to darken it, just a little bit of black. And once the studio is open again, this is one of the designs that we have in studio that is always available for you to come in and complete, at your leisure. And it comes with, rather than this video, it comes with the same step-by-step direction, but all written out for you. And it has the tracing paper and everything you need to create this canvas painting, but you don't even need a teacher to do it. You can do it all on your own, which is fun. All right, so I've got a nice skinny one here. So I'm using a round brush. So because I'm going for kind of a tapered off look here at the edge, I'm kind of just flicking my wrist a little bit as I get towards the end here. That's helping to taper off the color kind of as I go. Again, my lines are not perfect, but that's okay. I'm just doing my best to kind of fill in the lines that are pre-traced for me. Your lines might look a little different than mine. But that's what makes art fun. You put your own spin on it. Let's see. It feels weird not having any music on. Alrighty. Just working my way. And I'm probably gonna have to make myself some more paint. So I'll just go back to that same formula that I used before. And do 1 part of the violet, 1 part of the phthalo red, and then just a small amount of the Mars black. The acrylic paints that we use are definitely a premium paint brand, and you will notice a difference with these paints versus other store-bought paints. They just go on so much nicer. All right, making some progress, getting there. Gonna be here a little while. It's okay, it's all good. A little triangle in here. Let's get that guy. And let's see, where else do we want to go? Okay, I think I'm going to do kind of like this outline, the bottom part here. So luckily, the parts that I did towards the beginning, they're starting to dry now. Acrylic takes a little longer to dry than other paints, but starting to dry. Doing a pretty even, thin coat, or at least that's what I'm trying to do as I go. So that way, once I get up to this side, I don't have to worry about my hand kind of smudging what I already did, because it's already starting to dry. So that's why I was just kind of working my way down. At the end, I'm probably gonna go back in and cover up a lot of these smudge marks that we have. It just happens, the natural oils in your hands and fingers, that kind of thing can happen. So I am probably going to go back in and cover it up with the titanium white in the end. If it doesn't bother you, then you don't even need to worry about it, but for those of you that want a crisper, cleaner look, that's always an option for you. All right, let me make a little bit more of this here. One of these, and a little bit black. Another option with this, when I first looked at the design, I thought another way you could do it, to kind of put your own twist on it, would be to even paint the entire background black, and then maybe do some, instead of kind of going with dark colors, maybe do light colors on top of the black. Felt like that would look fun as well. Just another option. All right, so I'm gonna kind of start back up towards the top, closer to where I know stuff has been starting to dry. Remember, just doing my nice short strokes. Just trying to think of it like a coloring book. You're just trying to stay in the lines, color in the lines. This is not a fast process. Even with this, if you do have a hairdryer handy, you can always use the hairdryer just on a low setting, very low setting, and you want to hold it at least a foot away from your canvas. But you can use that to speed up the drying time as you go along, which I probably am going to use my hairdryer to help speed up just in between colors, so that we can move on to the next color when we need to. Right, I'm just looking for my little X's and my little check marks in the boxes that I did for myself. This is a little bit of a wavier kind of crystal on this side. Big section here. Just doing my short brush strokes all the way down, filling it in as I go. And this is another good one when it's something that you have to, heavily trace, or there's a lot of little pencil lines in there. I always recommend standing and painting. Just kind of helps us not want to lean on the picture. I usually kind of balance on my pinky just to kind of help balance my brush. I'm just a standing painter anyways, but just however you're comfortable. But I will say for stuff like this when there's a lot of pencil lines on there and a lot of stuff that's able to be kind of smudged. I feel like it's better to stand to avoid it. Right, I'm just kind of flicking my wrist at the end to get that like tapered look. Got probably 4 more boxes to fill in with this color until I move on to my lettering. Just double checking my sample over here. I'm going to keep with my short strokes throughout the entire painting process when filling in these boxes. All right, it's looking pretty good. Just doing a double check to make sure that I filled in everything that I had a check mark in. I think I did. Yep. All right, so now, here we go, the tough part. I'm gonna start to fill in my letters. So like I said before, sometimes it's easier to just turn this canvas kind of on its side and not even think about them as letters, just think about them as shapes. So I'm just gonna work left to right here with this. So I'm just gonna start filling in, just again, kind of a finer tip brush if you have it. And again, with using our short strokes, short smooth strokes as we go. Filling in the lines little by little here. Probably gonna have to make more of my purpley mixture here. The good thing is that we always give you extra paint, so that way if you decide you want to switch up your colors a little bit or whatever you want to do. And like I said earlier, to kind of clean this up in the end, if you feel the need, you can go back in with the titanium white and you're able to kind of clean up the edges a little bit if you feel the need. And I don't have a ton of paint on my paintbrush. Oh, thank you for that like or that love emoji, whoever sent it. So yeah, I don't have a ton of paint on my brush. I'm just kind of focusing paint towards the tip of my brush. If you do find that you have too much, just scrape it off on your palette. Alright, I'm gonna make some more of that mixture. One of the purple, one of the phthalo red, and a little bit of black. Mix and mix and mix until I get the color where I want it. And let us know if you're watching this live with us or if you decide to watch it on replay. I'm just gonna kind of scrape off my excess paint here, making sure I just have paint close to the tip of my brush. Just keep filling in these lines. I find if I work quicker on the letters, then it goes a little smoother for me. I'm not thinking about it as much. So maybe that'll work for you as well. Just gotta smooth out some of these guys here. Got our little apostrophe. We can't upset the grammar police. Alrighty. One word down. So I'm gonna keep on moving to the A here. A is a little tricky. It's got some movement to it. Filling in the lines as I go here. Oh, what a gem. Okay. Alright, so now if you're seeing any spots that you need to kind of tidy up in your letters, do that now. Just give everything kind of a once over. Again, like once you see this like canvas traced out in front of you, you'll realize, you know, these letters are not, they're meant to be like a little kind of wiggly and wobbly. That's just the look of them, the font that they're in. But you know, it's your piece. So if you wanted to switch up the font of the letters, of course you could do that. I'm just kind of trying to stick to the sample for now with mine. All right, so we're here, and at this point I'm gonna stick my brush in the water. I'm gonna give it a nice rinse, and we're gonna move on to the next step. So for the next step, we're gonna be once again making a new color and filling in some of the gem. So the next color that we're gonna make is gonna be kind of like this, looks kind of like a peachy type color on here. Everybody's color is gonna look a little different. But again, my first step is I'm gonna go in just with my pencil and lightly mark out where I'm gonna put my new color, just to give myself like a little bit of a guideline. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that first. So here. Just going lightly with the pencil. And again, it's just nice to have so that I don't have to keep checking. I mean, obviously you could do this kind of freehand and as you go. But for me, I just kind of like to plan it out a little bit, so that once I get my color made, I'm just ready to go. I'm ready to jump right into painting it. All right, cool. I think that's a good spot to start. So, okay, let's get our color made now. Okay, so I use that same brush that I've been using. I've had it rinsing. Now I'm just gonna dry the bristles a little with my paper towel here. And for our next color, we are going to mix 2 parts, so 2 brush loads of the titanium white. And I'm gonna mix that with 1 part of the raw sienna. And then I'm also gonna add to that a half brush load or a half part of the bright red. So just a half. And I'm mixing that up. Let's see what we end up with that. I'm gonna add a little bit more bright red to mine. Brighten it up a bit. Alrighty. That nice and mixed. Make sure you're scraping off the brush, all sides. Okay, cool. So now I'm gonna jump right in. My second color here. And again, I'm just gonna start kind of towards the top, work my way down with this kind of peachy. So I'm looking for the X's I made first and filling those guys in. Just first outlining. So just making myself a little outline with the nice short strokes, outlining the little box, and then filling it in. Everybody's color is going to vary a little bit from here, even if you're following along like step by step with the video, just know that everyone's color is going to look a little different. It might not be perfect, so don't be upset if your color is not exactly the look of mine, because it's your color. Skinny guy. And if you feel like these boxes are getting too skinny, just move to a smaller brush. You feel like you have more control with a smaller brush. A lot of times people, will be able to control the paintbrush a little better the further down you hold it. So the closer that you hold it to the bristles, you'll gain a little more control that way as well. So you can try that. See if that helps you at all. Just outlining and filling in. Short strokes here. In the end, I was also thinking about adding some glitter to this painting as well, just because I'm super into geodes and I just love the inside, how it like sparkles a little in the light. So I was thinking about adding some glitter kind of here and there to certain colors. Obviously that's, your preference. I especially think that would look cool on a black canvas as well. All right, we're making our way here. Looks like I've got about 6 or 7 more boxes to fill in with this color. Overall, I think we're making 6 different colors today. It's interesting to see kind of as that first color that I applied, as that's drying, it's darkening up a little bit, which is cool. It's kind of making me rethink if I want to do a second coat. I might just leave it how it is. Remember, feel free to ask any questions that you have as we're going along. Got a whole lineup of classes scheduled for the next few weeks, so we have something every day, so you're able to purchase stuff in advance, or if there's something that we've already done that you're bummed that you missed out on or you just didn't have time, that day or whatever, you can always purchase it after the fact, and then we can give you the video that goes along with it, which is nice. And then a lot of our virtual classes we're also doing on Zoom, so it's fun to just have like a live interaction, and it's nice for me and for the rest of our instructors to also be able to see what you guys are doing step by step, and to kind of offer guidance as you go. So that's a fun perk of purchasing one of these kits as well. I think I have to do a little one right in here. And then of course also we're taking requests. If there's a certain canvas design maybe that you had seen in studio before, or something that you've really been wanting to see us do, or to be able to have in your home, just let us know and we'll see if we can make that happen. We are taking requests at this point, so I'm pretty sure this one was requested. Like I said, I love this one because I just feel like crystals and geodes and gems just kind of remind me of positive vibes. I'm just kind of, this color is a little light, so I'm just kind of going over spots that I see, and you know, if you're feeling like the color hasn't dried yet, then maybe you'll want to wait a minute before doing the second coat, because you don't want to be just kind of moving paint around. You actually want to be applying a second layer. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, I'm just kind of filling in. Sometimes the lighter colors especially might need a couple coats, but again, it's your preference. All right, a couple more. We'll get ready to move on to, what are we gonna move on to? Maybe a bright pink here. I think we could use a bright, something bright. Yeah, all right, cool. So let's move on to kind of a bright pink here. Same brush. Once again, I'm gonna give it a nice rinse and making sure that the bristles are totally dry before I begin working in my next color. Okay, so for the next color, we're gonna do 1 part of the violet. So 1 brush load for 1 part of violet. And then we'll do 1 1.5 of the phthalo red. So that was 1 part violet and 1.5 parts of the phthalo red. And let's see what we got. Not as bright as I thought. I think I'm gonna add a little more of the phthalo red to mine. And you can do that, just make adjustments, you know, get the color that you want. All this is just a guideline for you. The ultimate choice on color palettes and things is totally yours. So let's see. All right, I'm happy with that. It's kind of a pinky purple. All right, so same thing now with this. Let's do our X's here on where we want these guys to go. So I'm gonna do one up here. Again, just being really light with that pencil. Don't want it to like kind of leave, don't want to be able to see your marks behind the paint. So I'm just trying to go real light with that. Hi Tanya, I just saw Tanya come on. Hi Tanya. All right, let's see. Okay, we got a few more to do. All right, I think this is like a good starting spot. Okay, so we've got our pretty pink, nice and mixed here. And again, I've got a lot of paint on my brush, so I'm gonna kind of scrape off the excess and just use kind of what's on the tip of my brush to start. I can always add more if I need to. So start at the top, same thing, nice short strokes, just kind of outlining those boxes. And then filling them in. This one I feel like I am gonna have to add a second coat as well, just seeing it. I want it to be kind of a more of a standout pink. I don't know, maybe I'll change my mind as we go, but as of right now, I'm like feeling that I'm gonna need a second coat. Alright, so nice short strokes here. Any questions that you guys have, feel free to ask. And of course, if you guys try this at home or decide to purchase a kit, I'd love to see your finished product. You can always post it in the comments for me, or if you want to send me send it to me in a private message as well. Love to see how everybody's kind of variation on it. Filling in my lines here, filling in my boxes, one by one. Right, let me just fill this in. As far as brush strokes goes, if you're leaving just one coat, you will be able to see your brush strokes. So you might want to keep that in mind and have all your brush strokes kind of going in one direction. Adding additional layers of paint, additional coats of paint on top of this does help to even out our brush strokes and help them to disappear so that it looks like more of a solid look. But definitely on these bigger sections, you can see the brush strokes. I really like this color. And if you need it, we can post, color combinations for you. Some people like to have it written down so they can see it as they go. But it's kind of up to you. Okay, so again, I'm just doing nice short strokes as I go. Coloring in on top of that traced outline. Just outlining it for myself. And then you're able to go back in and just kind of fill in the box there, again with those nice short strokes. Just little by little. And then if you feel like your paint's getting globby anywhere, just kind of even it out with the tip of your brush. Just working my way around the canvas here. Let's see, I feel like I've got another check mark over here, just a small one. And I've got another one right in here. All right, I'm just gonna kind of continue along here. Again, I'm just kind of moving in a way that is allowing the paint that I did earlier to dry first, so that way I can go back in with a second coat if needed, and also is preventing me from smudging the paint or the pencil as much. But remember, always an option for you, coloring in the background with the titanium white, filling in any of those uneven lines, making them crisper, any of the smudge marks that you want to hide, you're able to do that. Alrighty. Looks like we got about 7 more boxes to go in this color. Let's start back up near the top again. See, it's the same thing every time. Just doing the outline, nice short strokes, filling it in. Another check mark here. Trying to be mindful of not smudging the paint as you go. But remember, if you do have that hairdryer handy, it can help to kind of, before you move on to the next color, just give it a little nice little dry all over, and that will help with the smudging as well. like everybody that did the neon cow with me last week would be into this as well. Color palette is nice and fun for this one as well, just like the neon cow. Alrighty, got a few more boxes to fill until we move on to our next color. And remember to let yourself take a break too, to step away from the painting. It's always a good thing to do, to always just kind of step away, look at it, see if there's anything you want to change or anything you do differently. Especially projects like this that are so intricate and do take a while. It's good to kind of step away and come back to it. Just trying to even out my lines a little bit. This particular crystal on this side is like supposed to be a little bit wavy, so I'm just trying to get some movement in there with my brush strokes as well to kind of show that. The next color after this, I believe, is going to be kind of like a light gray. Alright, so I'm done with those, or at least the first coat. I do think I'm going to do a second coat on that particular color. I don't want to be able to see my brush strokes as much, so adding an additional layer of paint or a second coat is going to help smooth those out definitely for me. Just stepping back from it, taking a look. And yep, definitely want to add a second coat, so I'm going to get in there with that second coat. Let's start near the top and just start filling in again. Not spending a ton of time on this second coat. I'm just trying to go over a little bit of what I have and seeing if it's making a difference, which it is a little. Maybe this time I'll go opposite of the way that I did my brush strokes on the first layer. So if my brush strokes were horizontal on the first layer, maybe now I'm going vertical. Still sticking with the nice short strokes. Might need to make some more paint here, especially if we're doing 2 coats of colors. some more on the big one here. Like I said, I did horizontal paint strokes the first time, so this time I'm gonna go in with some kind of vertical, just to kind of help blend it, give it a more solid look. I've got a really fun watercolor on ceramics coming up that I'm really excited about. Something that we haven't explored too much in the past on ceramics, so we haven't offered it. We were planning on offering it in April until everything happened. So I would definitely, if you haven't already signed up for that one, check out the details of that one on our website, because that one's going to be really fun. Watercolors are definitely making a comeback. All right, cool. So I'm pretty happy with that. I went in and just kind of gave everything just another coat, just to kind of solidify the look a little bit more. So we're gonna move on to our next color. Same brush, same process, just rinsing out that brush now. If you had a hairdryer handy and wanted to use it at this point, you just wanna give it a quick once over on the low setting. You don't want to get too close to your canvas with it. Always stay like about a foot away. All right, so let's get into our next color here. So for our next color, we are going to do 2 parts or 2 brush loads of the titanium white. And then we are going to do 1 part violet. And to that we will add just a small amount of the Mars black. And we'll see what we got. It's looking like a pretty grayish color. I'm liking that. This color palette is nice. It's different. Different in a good way. All right, so we are getting, less and less of the segments as we go. So if here's, again, if it helps you, you can mark everything out with the X. I'm gonna give myself like a couple little marks on here. But we're getting there. What did I say in the beginning? 1 hour and 45 minutes for this, right? Okay, so I'm just marking out every place that I'm going to apply my next color, like we've been doing. Just super lightly, nothing crazy, and maybe you don't even need this on yours, but for me it just helps a little bit. All right, that's done. All right, let's get in there with our new grayish color. Again, I'm just kind of like scraping off excess paint and just kind of focusing all the paint towards the tip of the brush. And I'm going to start towards the top, outlining. And filling in. Nice short strokes, going right up against that other color, trying not to leave any of the white canvas showing underneath. Okay, just filling in again with the short strokes. At the point now where we're getting down to, I think, only one color after this, so kind of paying a little bit more attention to just making sure that all the colors are right up against each other and that there's no canvas showing underneath them. So I might be overlapping a little bit here in my colors, just to ensure a finished look. Here we got like a couple little spots that it goes down and up and down and up. Just like some jagged edges here. Remember, if you have to, switch to an even smaller brush to really get in there. Or you can always come back, clean it up later, again with that color that you may or may not be overlapping here. So like for me, I'm overlapping this dark, the blackish violet color, just to ensure that none of the canvas is showing. So I may go back in again and just add a little more black over that. All right, let's see, where else? Oh, here's one, an X on this guy. I don't know, I might add glitter. It might need some glitter. Geode sparkle. All right, that's looking good. Let's see. Ooh, a little stretch here on this little painting stretch break. And I'm back. Okay. Let's go. We got another one, nice big one down here. And again, I'm trying to get, now I'm focusing on getting right up close to those colors that are already on my canvas. Trying to make sure that I'm filling everything in, that there's no more of the white canvas showing through. All the edges are right up next to each other. This one, I think I might only have to do one coat. I might give it a little more visual interest as well if I kind of leave some with 2 coats and some with 1 coat. But again, it's your preference. Let's see, we got a few more right in here. And I will say, I can, with that lightest color that's on our canvas now, that the one that we use, the raw sienna and the white, if you don't do 2 coats with that, you can see your little X's underneath. So for that one, I'm definitely going to recommend doing 2 coats. I'm just noticing if there's any spots that I didn't hit with that second coat, that I can kind of see a little bit of the pencil marks underneath. So to avoid that, you're already going to want to have it in your head to be doing 2 coats there. All right, we got a few more of these. Still keeping with my short strokes as I go. Might need to make a little bit more of this. Getting close to the end here. Got about 4 more boxes to fill in with this. Hope everybody is liking how theirs is turning out. Alright, did I get them all? Am I missing any of my gray periwinkle? I think I got them all. Just give a once over. Anything that looks like it needs that second coat, remember, gonna feel free. As it dries, it's like deepening or getting a little darker, so that's nice to see. right, a few more here. You with me? Everybody with me? I told you guys it was gonna be a long one. Super cute friend gift. I think I'm gonna add this, put this in my little spot that I do yoga in. Nice little addition. I feel like it would also look cute in my daughter's room. Alright, cool. Happy with that. Sweet. Me too. Alright. Here we go, guys. On to the last color. Okay. I'm rinsing. Oh wait, I lied. There's 2 more colors. Did I lie? Oh, sorry guys. Alright. Last 2 colors. Coming at you. Here we go. We can do it. We got this. I don't know, it might just be 1 more color. Let's see. Alright, so next color. Here we go. Let's do same brush, rinsed, bristles are dried, and now we're going to get into doing 1 part white, 1 part of our titanium white, 1 part of the phthalo red, and we're going to do just along with that half part of the raw sienna. Okay, so that was 1 of the titanium white, 1 of the phthalo red, and then a half part of the raw sienna. So I'm just going to kind of fill in what I've got left here. If there's anything that I think I may have missed or I'm feeling like I want to do a different color, I'll hold off on those, but I'm thinking for most of these, I don't know, I may have missed a couple, but we'll see as we go here. All right, so again, I'm just going to kind of like start towards the top, scraping off my excess paint and just kind of outlining as I go. This color's kind of a mix between what we've already done with the dark pink color and that peachy color. This one's kind of somewhere in between. Really pretty color here. Loving that. Moving right along. Now you should start, as we're doing this, seeing this really come together now. Hopefully on your end, you're feeling good about it. Again, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm going right up against these other colors that I've done, smoothing out lines as I go here, as I know that this is kind of getting towards the finish line. I'm just kind of smoothing stuff out as I go. I definitely forgot some. Because like what I'm trying to avoid is putting two of the same color directly next to each other. But good thing is I have everything here on my palette still, so if I did forget a couple colors, I'm able to add a little water into those colors that are kind of starting to dry on your palette, and that'll bring it back to life if you can't remember the formula that you used. Or just hit rewind and you can remember. Alright, it's looking pretty good. Moving right along here. Let's get this guy down here. Still doing the nice short strokes. Get this one. Whoop. Another one here. So this one's like front and center, so I really want to make sure that this one's looking nice, solid, all along. So if I need to go in with that second coat, I'm definitely going to do that. And I'm just kind of smoothing out any spots that I have excess paint as well. Let's see here. We'll get some little pink up here. And again, remember, if you're feeling like you can see too much of the pencil lines underneath, whether it's the guidelines you gave for yourself or just the little traceable or the stuff that we traced onto the canvas for you, just remember all that means is that you're going to need to do more coats of paint. So just keep that in mind. Another good thing to do anytime you add white, this particular titanium white to the paint, it also helps with the opaqueness of it. It helps to make that color a little more solid looking for you, not as transparent. So keep that in mind if you feel like you're not happy with seeing the brush strokes, or incorporating white into your colors will help to even things out, solidify the paint for you a little bit more. While it might make the tone of the color lighter, it will help again with not being able to see through the color. All right, We're getting there. Got a few more boxes to fill in. Like as I'm doing this, I'm still, even though it's the last color, I'm still wishing that I gave myself those little guidelines because I just feel like I'm like second guessing where I put the colors. So I'm just kind of double checking, but definitely would recommend sticking with that method if you used it all along. Right, still got a little bit left here. Got a few more to fill in. Definitely know I missed a few boxes with the gray. And I think I missed a couple with the dark pink as well, so I'm gonna have to go back in. But again, since we're getting close to the end, I'm just kind of focusing on making sure that these colors are going right up next to each other and that the canvas isn't showing it through at all. Let's see, do I have any more with this light pink? I don't think so. I think I'm gonna switch back into the gray. Yeah, so I'm gonna rinse. I've got a little bit of that grayish periwinkle color left in my palette here. So I'm gonna add some more of that gray because I feel like that's a really pretty color. So I'm gonna add some of that right here. Where else? How about over here? Definitely these guys. And I don't know, maybe you get to this spot and you're like, hey, I want to add a new color. And you can totally make your own color out of the ones we've given you and add a new color. And yeah, because there was so much white in this particular color, I think I can get away with just the one coat. But I'm just still trying to smooth everything out here. Okay, I'm liking that. Looks like I need a couple more down here just to even this out. Remember, always an option to move down to a smaller brush if you feel like you need more control. Always scoot your hands down towards the bristles. That will also give you some more control with the brush. All right, I think we just got like a couple more. I think I want to switch to that darkest pink that we have on there to kind of finish off the inside of the gemstone here. So what I'm going to try and do is just try to wake this color up. I just added a little bit of water to it. Not a lot. We'll see if that works. I don't need much. So, of course you can just make this color again, but let's see if this does the trick. I might need to make it. We'll see. getting tough now to actually lean your hand on the canvas at all. All right, yeah, that's working. Right, got one more spot to kind of fill in here. And I do remember that this one I definitely did a second coat, so I will go back in and do a second coat. So from here, I've now got all my little segments filled in. So I'm just kind of giving everything like a once over. Again, making sure that the whites of the canvas is not showing in between colors. Everything's looking as though it's connected. Anything that needs to be touched up can be at this point. Still didn't do, I have like a little bit, it's just kind of like an outline of this whole drawing to just kind of like give it a little bit of like a bordered effect and to just help it look a little more finished. I didn't do that yet. In order to achieve that look, I recommend using a black acrylic marker. So I do have one of those. If you need to, you can also use a black Sharpie, or you can use a fine, again, the fine paintbrush with black paint. So I have this black acrylic marker here. Let's shake it up. And I'm just gonna loosely kind of outline. This is also traced on here for me as well. Again, the purpose of this is just to kind of give it like a little like finished look. Up to you, maybe you don't want to do this. All right, there we have it, guys. You're a gem. You're all gems. So from here, like I said, if there's any what do we call it, kind of I can't think of the word, but if the pencil is like smudged anywhere or any paint, you could always take a bigger brush with your titanium white and go over that, and that will kind of make all the smudges disappear. It'll also brighten up the background for you. Again, your preference. But thanks you guys so much for joining me, and I hope you had fun with this. Stay tuned. Like I said, over the next couple weeks we have a virtual class or virtual tutorial going on every single day, so check out our schedule online for details, and hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. Take care.